In its latest bid to ring in the country's booming housing market, the Chinese government has placed a dozen major cities, including the third largest, Guangzhou, on a special pilot program. For many immigrants arriving in a new city, finding a house to rent is their first task, but they face many challenges right away. First of all, there's a lack of supply, and second, there's a severe lack of transparency in the market. One of its instruments the government is hoping might solve these problems is an independent exchange platform for house rentals, which would essentially protect the rights of both sides on the lease. The government is also encouraging cities, especially the country's primary ones, to increase their supply and build more for rent. It also pledges to support businesses trying to implement its new housing policies. China's housing market has been a government concern for many years, but is a highly complicated one. In 2015, the Central Economic Working Conference pointed out that low-rent public housing should not be limited to local residents, but should be expanded to migrants. Last year, the conference focused on the development of the market and in compiling fresh legislation. Well, the southern Chinese city of Guangzhou has announced a flurry of incentives to boost its home rental market after a year-long property boom has made new housing less affordable. The move comes as the central government looks to boost the rental market in a bid to satisfy housing demand and bring in the hot property prices. Wu Haojun has more.
Giving tenants and homeowners equal rights to education resources. It's all part of the Guangdong provincial government's bigger plan to increase the number of rentals and to reduce property prices. In many Chinese cities, the closer a property is to a good school, the more expensive it seems to be. The right to attend these schools, however, is limited to the offspring of the local homeowners. But under new regulations, children of tenants, many of whom are migrants working, will be able to attend a school near their rented property.
Buying an apartment in better school districts may cost 10 million yuan, but renting one may be just 100,000. I think it's good for people like me who are in urgent need of a home near good schools.
But for some, things are different.
Homes near good schools are already priced accordingly. When the regulation goes into effect, there is a risk that rents will soar.
And experts say although the new regulations may benefit migrant families, they fail to address the fact that education resources are still lacking.
The new policy cannot resolve the fundamental problem. More schools are needed.
The city of Guangzhou has promised to assign more houses for rent and to allow estate agents to renovate old apartments and dilapidated buildings. And it has slashed or even eliminated value-added taxes for some registered companies and individuals involved in the residential rental business. With so many stakeholders, the question now remains, who will be the greatest beneficiary further down the line? Wu Haojun, CGTN.